Hi everyone, Edie here. I know it's been a while, sorry. I'm just gonna, I'd like to talk about why guys usually start salsa dancing. There's two reasons. The first reason is because they are Puerto Rican or they're Cuban and they can't dance to save their life. And what they do is they say, gosh, this is really embarrassing. Here I am, Latino, and I can't take any dance steps. I don't know what to do, etc., etc. So they start taking classes, right? For cultural reasons, they want to go back home and dance with the family and stuff like that. Because after you leave Puerto Rico or Cuba or whatever, and then you're in this country for a while, or in any country, you start to miss home. You start to miss, wow, I loved it when I was with my grandma and my grandpa, and I always saw them dancing, and I miss the music and whatnot. So that's the first reason. The second reason is for a woman, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people do a lot of things to accommodate their partner, okay? A lot of people do a lot of stupid things to get a woman. But salsa dancing is probably one of the smartest things you can do. Why? Well, first of all, virtually, I would say 99% of the men whom I've trained, because their girlfriend dances, eventually they break up or something happens, either in the middle of their training or right at the end. Let me tell you a story. There's a couple. I was training this guy, and he was relatively wealthy. He was really wealthy, in fact. And I went to his house. He had like this 8-bedroom place. It was amazing. And he was looking to learn salsa because his girlfriend, who was only 24, I believe he was in his 30s, he was into oil, big oil mogul, whatever. His girlfriend was on the East Coast, and she was going to come back and move in with him, but she loved salsa dancing, and that was one thing that she told him that she was not going to stop doing. And I don't blame her, And he realized, wow, I'm going to have to put up with seeing her in the arms of 12 different guys in one night, and I'm just going to be sitting there on the sideline sipping my scotch. That's not too fun for me. So he called me up and he said, Edie, I want to take a few privates with you. Well, he bought a 30-hour package, and I spent 30 hours with him, and he got really, really good. I mean, I was like shocked, and I thought, you know what, overachiever, type A, I shouldn't be shocked, yeah. So anyway, he was very, very adamant and determined to learn salsa with me, and I took him through the entire black belt salsa curriculum. Step 1, we made it all the way through camel belt. And if you don't know about black belt salsa, it's run much like martial arts. You go from white belt to orange to yellow to camo to green belt, etc., all the way through black belt. So anyway, long story short, every time I went over there, the only place that wouldn't mess up his floors was in between his Lamborghini and his Bentley in his garage, okay? He had a beautiful garage floor. I mean, it could have been a dance floor. I was shocked he had a Lamborghini and a Bentley on it. Anyway, so we were practicing there, every week, twice a week. And then his big surprise was when his girlfriend came from the East Coast, and I said, he goes, how should I surprise her with this? What do you think I should do to show her that I know how to dance now? And I said, well, why don't I stand right in the middle of your Bentley and your Lamborghini and tell her on the way home from the airport that you have a surprise for her. And tell her the surprise is in between a Bentley and a Lamborghini. Okay? And see what she says. So anyway, we planned the whole thing. It's his big surprise. He has this big banner in front of his house. Welcome home, Roxanne, I'll just say, okay? No names to protect the innocent. Bought her I think 6 dozen roses, lined the floors with roses. Everything was just wonderful for her. And so he walks her inside the room, inside the garage actually, and he goes, here's your surprise. It's in between a Bentley and a Lamborghini. And I was standing there, and he goes, you know who Edie the Salsa Freak is, right? She didn't know who I was. And I thought, oh God, okay. So now she's going to think this is a threesome. No freaking way, right? She looked at him and she got so pissed. She says, who is that woman, right? And so that already screwed up the first thing to begin with, right? And he goes, no, this is my salsa instructor. I've been taking salsa lessons with her, and we figured we'd play a little joke on you. Of course, she was expecting like a Ferrari or something like that, but she didn't get that. She got me instead. So anyway, so check it out. So he said, she's been my salsa instructor, and I want to show you, that I know how to dance now. And she looked at him with this, like, this disgusting look, and she goes, she's been training you? And I was just thinking, oh my God, So who is this spoiled, rotten girl? Anyway, he said that he met her at a restaurant. She was a server at a restaurant. So anyway, he says, no, let's go ahead and dance together. So they start dancing, and it turns out all she knows is cumbia. Now, there's nothing wrong with cumbia, okay? Nothing at all. It's just that she kept calling it salsa. And I think that a lot of people who dance cumbia to salsa music think they are dancing salsa, when they don't realize that they're just dancing cumbia to salsa music, right? So anyway, so she was dancing cumbia, and I thought, oh shit, I didn't teach him cumbia, I taught him salsa. So anyway, we did a quick lesson in cumbia. Of course, he picked it up right away. But then he said, you know what, because he couldn't get it with her, and she was getting frustrated, and he was getting frustrated, because I taught him, and I didn't ask him what style she danced. Of course, even if I would have asked him, he would have said salsa, because that's all she said was salsa, and he'd never seen her dance. So what good would that have done, right? Unless I asked him to give me a video of her dancing, of which he did not have anyway. So instructors, when you're confronted with this, you got to really make sure before you move on. That's why in the salsa curriculum, we have a little bit of cumbia in there, but I didn't go through cumbia with him. That's why we put it in there later, because I realized how important this is. Long story short, she was pissed when she walked in. She was pissed that he didn't know salsa in her words or in her mind. And she said, how much money did you spend on her? Blah, 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 right? Anyway, she's young and stupid, right? Probably more stupid than young. And so I was like, okay, let me just show you what we learned together. In fact, no, I didn't say that. He said that. So we put on a jam and salsa song, and we started to bust out. I mean, he just threw down like you would not believe. And I was like, wow. Because I also had him watch videos of salsa dancers, like the greatest in the world, world champions, etc. So he was so adamant about being just this amazing salsa dancer, and he got really good, right? And so anyway, and he worked hard. I mean, every lesson he was sweating, and so was I near the end. I never sweat during my lessons, but at nearing hour 26 through 30, it was a workout with him. So we threw down. I mean, it was amazing, and I was just so proud of him, and I was smiling, which I probably shouldn't have been doing in front of her. But anyway, so I was proud of him. I wasn't smiling because he was turning me on. He was turning me on in the fact that I felt so proud that he was doing so well in front of his stupid girlfriend, right? And so, check this out. She storms out of the room. She can't take it. So, I'm like, okay. Did we do something wrong here? No, we did something right. All this guy did was try to please his woman, okay? And it turned out that he became far better, far higher quality, superior dancer than she could ever know, right? Well, he asked me to leave. I left. Thank God. I felt really bad. I mean, why should I feel bad for doing such a great job at training this guy, right? So now I was talking to myself at home, and I was thinking, what a bitch, yeah, right? What a stupid bitch at the same time, yeah. So anyway, she's young. Okay, she's young, right? She doesn't understand men yet. So I called him. No, what was it? I think I called him. I texted him a couple days later. I said, how'd it go? You know, I feel really bad for what happened. I said, you are freaking amazing. I said, if you want to just let it all out and she leaves, just meet us at the club. You know, I have a whole crew, a whole team that would just love to dance with you, all my girls. You know, and he said, no. He said, I'm just really depressed right now. And he didn't respond. And then I texted him a couple weeks later. I said, hey, you know, you can come to our group classes. You know, you can come dancing with us. And he goes, no, she doesn't want me to salsa dance ever again. And you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, wow, you know, he spent all this money, all this time, all this effort, and he is no longer going to dance salsa ever again. That just blew my mind, okay? And I was like, whoa, I hope he breaks up with her, this stupid woman, because he could be a real, how should I say, asset to the salsa community here in Denver. Hello. So anyway, I never heard from him again. Then there was this other time where I trained this guy for a wedding. And he surprised her after their wedding song, and he started dancing with her, right? And I trained him on 2, and she was on 1. So you have to look out for that as well. She kept saying, what beat are you on? You know, this is what's so fucked up about this dance, all right? Is that you don't know if it's a surprise for somebody, right? You got to really drill them. You got to say, is she a cumbiera? Does she dance like this? Does she dance on 1? Does she dance on 2? Is she from Cali? You know, I trained another guy who had several girlfriends in Colombia. And I was training him on, you know, standard on 1 salsa. I think I also trained him a little bit on 2. But I think I started him on 2 and then I trained him on 1. Well, he goes to Cali, Colombia, and they're doing this thing with their feet that usually the Colombians do. That's like this little routine, and I don't know that routine, okay? So I couldn't train him in that, right? And I'm thinking, wow, so you're going to Colombia. I'm sure they dance salsa on 2 out there. I'm sure they dance salsa on 1. But all he wanted to do was this little thing where you just hold hands in T-stance position and do the footwork, and that's all they wanted to do too. So depending on what clan you're in Colombia, okay, you got to train for that, right? Salsa is amazing in that it has a different style all over the world. If you go to Cuba and you dance salsa on 2, you will not be able to dance with any of the Cubans. If you're a Cuban dancer and you go to New York and you go to a classic social, Jimmy Anton social, right? You probably won't be able to last very long. So the thing is that when you are training to dance for another person, I would think twice about 100% of your intent being just toward that one stupid bitch, okay? I would say that you should dance with the intent of doing this for yourself, so that when you go on that business trip, when you're at that wedding and you grab your cousin, you know, and dance, or when you're out at a restaurant and this woman in front of you just so happens to be a salsa dancer, you know, learn on 2 first. That's my recommendation, okay? Because if you learn on 1 first, you are totally fucked if you want to learn on 2. And I'm not kidding, because it takes so long for an on 1 dancer to get used to on 2. Months, okay? Unless you're doing it 8 hours a day. And not too many people have that kind of time, right? So learn on 2 first, and then learn on 1, because it only takes like 5 minutes, 10 max, to go from on 2 to on 1, right? So learn on 2 first, stick some cumbia in there, because you might end up going to Costa Rica or somewhere that's 30 degrees above the equator and 30 degrees below the equator, where you're gonna have to learn cumbia style, okay? Now, because of the internet, a lot of those equatorized countries are now starting to learn line style, where crossbody lead is popular, on 2, on 1 is popular, etc. And they'll grab you and say, oh, you're an on 1 dancer, or you're a line dancer. Teach me, teach me. And I've had that experience as well. I've taught guys, crossbody lead, line style, and then they end up going to freaking Costa Rica or wherever they're going to down there, and all those people know is cumbia style, very well. Better than I could teach it, But as soon as they see that person dancing line style, all the girls grab them and say, okay, sit down, teach us. And then the guys in that country get jealous if they don't have an open mind. And then they say, get the hell away from him, We're always afraid of things we don't understand. And if you understand on 2, it's like you're so liberated. But you know what? If that's all you know is on 2, you better get on the bandwagon and learn some cumbia, learn on 1, learn some Cuban style, because you never know. Salsa is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So, let's say that you get really good at salsa and you're doing it for this girl, right, that you want to be with. Well, guess what? If things don't work, if she drops the ball, hey, you've got the rope hanging on to the salsa, right? Because let's say that you're dancing or whatever, and somebody's gonna drop the ball. So you're passing the ball. It's either gonna be you or her or whoever. Well, this rope that's hanging from the sky is salsa. You can always dance with a million women, okay? In the Black Belt Salsa program, we teach on 2 first. Then we teach on 1. We teach cumbia in the middle of all that. So pretty much you will be able to dance with 90% of the people on planet Earth if you follow our curriculum, okay? Which is great. The only thing we haven't got into yet is that Cali, is the Colombian style, where they just dance together and they're holding hands and they do a bunch of footwork. We haven't got to that yet. But in Colombia, they also dance on 1 and on 2, all right? If you go to Cali, right? Not to the vacation spots, I'm told, like the remote vacation spots in Medellin and places like that. They still dance the classic cumbia style, okay? But in the big cities, I found that countries with the largest international airports of that city, people are dancing on 2, on 1, etc., okay? Because of the diversity, the melting pot that's coming around them. Even on the island of Curacao, in the middle of nowhere, okay? They dance all styles out there because there's so many different styles coming in. Even in Hawaii, because they invite all these instructors to come out there and vacation on those islands, So anyway, that's my little rant for today. I just missed my exit. I guess to summarize, learn all styles and then keep doing it. Don't just give up at the end if you guys break up. Keep doing it. Keep going. All right? So this is Edie the Salsa Freak signing out. Bye.